Also, yeah, Derek Carr retired over the weekend.
Yeah, that was big. Saturday. It's rare you see somebody Saturday morning like, I'm done.
Yep.
That news never breaks on a Saturday morning.
I am so curious, and we'll obviously never know. If Derek Carr doesn't break his leg, in 2016, who knows what that looks like? I mean, the guy was so freaking good. Like, that season was awesome. So, and then he had it was the back injury, I think, right, that he had the following year. So, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I think obviously the time with the Raiders really came to an anticlimactic end. When Devontae Adams gets traded there, it's like, oh man, like maybe we're going to see, old school Derek Carr now. And it just didn't go that way. He gets released and then goes to the Saints, where I didn't think he was going to have the most success there. It didn't really move the needle for me a whole lot. It was like, okay, they'll be more competitive, but I feel like this is going to sound very not so nice. I feel like the way that it ended is like, okay, Derek Carr gets to keep the $10 million, right, that the Saints gave him, right? He made like $200 million over his career, gets to retire, and the Saints, they recoup a bunch of money as well. Now they're no longer in cap hell. So I know lots of Saints fans were not very happy with Derek Carr and his performance in New Orleans. And this way, it's like, okay, wish the guy nothing well, and now it's time to rebuild and see.
They wish him nothing well?
Oh, did I say that?
I wish that man nothing well.
Wish you well. There you go. Have a nice day.
Yeah, Saints fans kind of hate Derek Carr, which is weird. I mean, I get it. When you pay a guy to come in, you've got a certain amount of expectations, and it never got there. But it's really hard to put it all on Derek Carr, and that's kind of been his story through his entire career. But he's also never been the quarterback who really puts the team on his back, because his back breaks when that happens. But solid career. That was my conclusion. Derek Carr, solid quarterback, never great, never got a playoff win. He was injured. The play that he got injured on, with the Saints, him diving for that first down or whatever, last play, that sucks.
But he was trying, man. Like, and I give him credit for that. And again, like, old school Derek Carr was a lot of fun to watch. It just, every
time it started to look good for Carr and the Raiders, and then over to the Saints, something happened, right?
Yeah.
So, great season, breaks his leg. They lose in the playoffs to the Texans. Next season, the Raiders just weren't good for whatever reason.
Is that the back injury that year, or is the following year?
I can't remember, but that was Jack Del Rio's last season. Mm-hmm. So they fired Del Rio, and I talk about this in our Raiders video that I'm going to post later this week, but that's when they switched to John Gruden. That probably wasn't a great decision, obviously, but Gruden's there. They try and retool everything. None of it kind of works out. And then they bring in Antonio Brown. Derek Carr's really excited to throw the ball to AB, and he's gone before the end of the preseason, basically.
Yeah.
At the end of the preseason. Then they bring in Devontae Adams for him. One great year, not like in wins and losses necessarily, but like Carr and Adams were good together.
Devontae had a good stat line.
Then McDaniels says, see you later, Derek. So it's like every time they started to get a little momentum for Carr, something kind of out of his control messed it up.
Yeah, I feel like after the leg injury too and the back injury, there was just, it never got back to that point, right?
Yeah.
Of being, because like that's what Raiders fans were waiting for so long. It was like, okay, can we get back to this level of play where you could argue he was playing like on an MVP level, and then it didn't pan out, unfortunately. And Joey, happy freaking fracking birthday. Let's go.
Happy birthday, Joey. Campanelli.
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 But for the Saints, I feel like this was also, I'll give it a little bit more credit than a lateral move, but it wasn't like bringing in Derek Carr. They're like, we need to try something. They're kicking the can down the road. Like, let's bring in an established quarterback with some upside, right? Like maybe we can tap into what the Raiders couldn't. And, they got Chris Olave, and it just, I don't think it ever panned out. Obviously, the guy is dealing with injuries. And so now it comes down to this. And I feel like for the Saints this season, we're going to see who's going to wind up starting, of course. Shook, if he's going to have...
Shook. It's Tyler Shook.
You think Shook's going to get there?
It's going to be Shook.
Yeah, going to be Shook. So I feel like if he's good, cool. If not, then maybe this is the year where they just suck and they're bad, and then they are able to kind of build that team back up.
I don't think you take Tyler Shuck in the second round if that's your expectation from the Saints' point of view. That could very well happen.
Sure.
I can't take Kellen Moore seriously if he's saying there's going to be an actual quarterback competition with all three QBs. What are we doing with Jake Haener? Okay? What are we doing with Jake Haener in that conversation? No offense, Jake. But I think your only real competition may be Rattler and Shuck, but I think it's Shuck's job to lose. And I thought, I have a rookie quarterback video I'm going to post today. I think it's winning in the poll on the community tab. But before we shot this last week, before Carr retired, I was like, I think Tyler Shuck's going to start week 1. And that's like based on Carr's shoulder injury. I was like, the only way Carr was going to come in and start is he was fully healthy. And that didn't look like it was going to be really the outcome, regardless of whether he got surgery or not. And now we know he needed surgery. That's why he decided to retire. I was like, I think Shuck starts week 1. And now it just feels more set in stone. He's going to start week 1. Give him as many reps as you can in practice. Give him the preseason reps. And, trust Kellen Moore. Like, this guy they wanted, start week 1. That way, if he's not the guy, more quickly. Like, the worst thing I think the Saints could do is start, like, Rattler for half the season and then put in Shuck. And then by the end of the year, not really know who your guy is.
Yeah, I feel like